Hey foodies, this is Foodie Phil and Critic Rebecca on Foodie on a Budget. This week we're answering that age-old question, what do you do when your toddler opens all your bread?
And it goes stale.
Definitely stale. Well, what we're doing is French toast. We're doing both a sweet and a savory French toast, which dates back all the way to the 4th or 5th century with a cookbook in the Roman times. I'm pretty sure the recipe was called Staleus Breadicus.
Phil, I think your Roman is rusty or made up.
Time to start with the classics. Let's start with sweet French toast. Now originally they had sugar or honey depending what was available in the area, but we live in a place with abundance, so we have the choice. What are we going to do, Rebecca?
We're going to do sugar and then we're going to top it with maple syrup.
That sounds fantastic. Let's get into it.
Sweet French toast, you are going to want either a plain bread, like just like a plain white bread or Italian bread, or you can use what we used a French brioche bread, which is a sweeter eggy bread, which is delicious. But you could also use a cinnamon swirl bread or whatever you have.
Whatever your toddler opened last night.
Yes. The staler your bread, the longer you can soak it in the egg mixture. If it's pretty fresh, it won't need to soak for that long, but if it's stale, it might need to soak for a little bit longer. You can kind of figure that out. You don't want your bread falling apart. But for this, we did a loaf of French brioche bread, and we used 5 eggs. Just gonna crack your eggs in your bowl, and we used 1/3 cup of whole milk, and that ratio worked great for that 1 loaf of bread. And you want your egg mixture to be a little bit thinner than a scrambled egg would be. So if you are making less French toast, you can just use some less eggs. Use 3 eggs and a couple tablespoons of milk, you know, to make for what you have. Or if you're making a whole bunch, you can use more eggs. So it's a flexible recipe. And then add a little bit of sugar, mix that in, add some vanilla, or maybe a lot of vanilla, and cinnamon. And one thing that I've found is when you're making French toast, your spices will kind of go to the top of your egg batter, and as you begin making it, your seasonings are gonna kind of get used up and soaked up by the bread. So if you want it to be consistent, halfway through you can just add a little bit more cinnamon or nutmeg or whatever spices you added to your eggs to continue that flavor. And then one other thing is that when you're making French toast, your pan, unless you preheat your pan, you can we lightly oiled it. But when you're making French toast, your pan, if it's not preheated, will take a little longer to make the first batch. So don't crank your heat too high, because then your later batches will burn or not cook all the way through to the center. So just keep it on low and your subsequent batches will go faster than the first one. And then we can talk about toppings for our French toast. So for your sweet French toast, powdered sugar, maple syrup,
Honey,
fresh berries or whipped cream are all good things if you're fancying it up a little bit.
if you're going sweet, might as well go all the way.
Mascarpone is another option if it's creamier than a cream cheese would be. And then you have your sweet French toast.
That looks gorgeous. So savory French toast is a fantastic meal if you don't want something super sweet.
I actually like the savory French toast even more than the sweet, even with my sweet tooth.
It's a filling meal that uses up a lot of things in the fridge, a lot of things that you have on hand anyway, like milk, eggs, and stale bread. So the stale bread can be really anything. Sourdough is a fantastic. We have an Italian and a caraway seed bread. in front of you right there, and I have some example of spices you could use. I have, going from the right, salt, everything but the bagel season, rosemary and thyme, pepper, basil, and sage. So you're going to start the same way you did with the sweet French toast, cracking 3 eggs. Make sure to not get any shells in the batter, as that would come out a little crunchier than. So you want to mix that to homogeneous, so you have the batter for your bread. Also during this time, you would want to preheat your pan, or else your first piece of bread will take a lot longer. Then you'll crank up the heat and then burn the rest of your batches. I may or may not be speaking from experience. So make sure to lightly oil your pan, or else you will be having a bad time. So you want to lightly dip. We don't like adding any of the spices to the batter itself, as if you want to change up the spices, or for your last French toast, add that cinnamon and sugar for the dessert at the end. It would kind of taste weird with all the spices in it. So we are adding the everything but the bagel spice right here straight.
It's from Trader Joe's. It's totally worth it to have in your cupboard.
It's got onion powder, sesame seeds,
garlic, salt,
everything on an everything bagel except the bagel. And we use it on the savory French toast here.
And then remember to sprinkle the other side with the seasoning as well. So I usually sprinkle it before I flip it face down into the pan, and then sprinkle the seasoning on the other side so I get both sides.
It'll take about 1 to 2 minutes till it's golden brown on it. And then we can talk about the best part, which is topping.
Topping your savory French toast can be a lot more exciting than sweet French toast. So some of our favorites toppings, we'll use cream cheese.
We'll use tomato paste.
Fresh tomatoes.
Fresh tomatoes when they're in season. Avocados.
Bacon.
Hollandaise sauce.
Prosciutto, possibly. You can really go a lot of different ways with this.
Think like you're making a eggy sandwich, I guess would be the best way to put it. Right here in front of you, we have cream cheese that we're mixing with the tomato paste to get this lovely tomato cream cheese. And then we are adding salt and bacon. I guess you didn't like my sage.
No.
You can add sage if you want, but we're adding bacon, and then
always add bacon.
Always add bacon, and then we're adding the hollandaise sauce to top it here.
And that's savory French toast. Give it a try. You won't regret it.
Thanks for watching our French toast, which is both
sweet
and savory.
Hope you liked it.
Please like and subscribe if you want more content like this, and comment below on what recipes you want to see us make or botch.
We'll try.
Hope you have a great day. You're being recorded?